As we marked Holocaust Memorial Day on the 27th of January and our thoughts went back to the Second World War, I thought of my great-grandfather Cesare De Fabiani, who was not a victim of the Holocaust, being Italian and Catholic, but was a victim of the fascist regimes in Italy and suffered at the hands of the Nazi Germans in Rome. My great-grandfather, Cesare De Fabiani, was born at the cusp of the 20th century in Rome into a middle-class and intellectual family. He was an avid learner, and after finishing his liceo, the First World War broke out, and he joined as still a teenager from 1916 to 1918. He was decorated for his service and bravery, and we still have many of his medals. Back in Rome, after the war, he began working for the Bank of Italy and got married to my great-grandmother, Giuseppina Galli. The two started their happily married life in their home at Via degli Etruschi, where my grandfather Aldo was born in January 1924. Soon after, at the end of the same year, the March on Rome took place, and Benito Mussolini was appointed as Prime Minister by the King, Victor Emmanuel. My great-grandfather did not agree with the fascist views, and certainly he was against the black shirts, or squadristi, and he became a vociferous anti-fascist activist. So when it became compulsory for all the funzionari pubblici, or public officials in Rome, to belong to the fascist party and to have the fascist card to prove it, he refused. And as a consequence, he was sacked from his position at the Bank of Italy. Cesare was a resourceful young man, and having to provide for a young family, he soon started his own business. He was an intellectual and had many friends within the Roman literary circle. Among his friends was Trilussa. The word Trilussa is the anagram of the surname of the Roman poet Carlo Alberto Salustri. Trilussa, who, although was much older, had a similar familial upbringing to Cesare. He was born into a middle-class family who enjoyed academic reading and bore appreciation for literature. Although not being as politically aware as Cesare, they struck a good friendship, and they enjoyed passing their time in their favourite places, such as coffee bars and taverns. And while spending time together, Trilussa realised that Cesare too had a gift for writing poems and sonnets in Roman dialect, and this is how my grandfather started writing poetry. So Cesare opened a publishing house, which also included a typography, from where he would print his own literary work and anti-fascist propaganda. Unfortunately, due to his anti-fascist stand, even his editorial office and publishing house at Via degli Etruschi was set to fire by the fascist blackshirts. Among the things which my grandfather managed to rescue was a framed painting of Christ, which is nowadays still in its original scorched frame in my mother's bedroom. If only it could talk. It goes without saying that my grandfather continued his activity and saw the end of the Second World War when he received an apology from the government, given back his position at the Bank of Italy, and rightly given back his house, which had been sequestrated by the fascists and given as private residence to a Nazi German general stationed in Rome. Cesare went on in 1945 to help with the reconstitution of the Communist Party and became a prominent leader of the Italian Communist Trade Union until he passed away prematurely in August 1953. He is now buried in the De Fabiani family grave in the monumental cemetery El Verano in Rome. I think it would be appropriate, as I spoke of his literary and poetical gift, to read you one of his poems in the Roman dialect. This is a poem called Le Naiadi, and it refers to La Fontana delle Naiadi a Piazza della Repubblica a Roma, sculptured by Mario Rutelli. In this poem, Cesare describes the beauty of this enormous fountain, in the middle of which a giant fights against a monster. Lì nella piazza tomba come un serto, circondata dai cedri e da giardini, spicca come un'oasi nel deserto una fontana che è degna dei Bernini. L'acqua zampilla e scroscia vaporosa, traboccano le vasche e la coppiera. E in mezzo er gigante e commossa fiera, lotta cor mostro, senza taglie posa. Intorno poi le naiadi discinte sulla schiena degli mostri marini, coi capelli svolazzanti e fini, languide e appassionate, stanno avvinte. La sera è uno sfolgorio dei colori e spanni intorno un senso di frescura che a stacci lì vicino te li stori come dentro un giardino in fioritura.